Well, hello there, my friends. This is Garrett J, the founder of Wake Up Warrior, and also your host here in the Warrior Wealth Podcast. Now, I'm shooting this video from my cell phone. If you look here on the right side of my face, swollen as fuck. I had some surgery done in my mouth, and my mouth is, I've got some events. I'm running 3 events this week, and truly, I just did not have any more inside of me to shoot another hour show for you guys. So what we did is we dug into the archives. This week is the topic of protection. And inside that topic of protection, we're going to dive into 2 ideas. 1, the power of protection, but 2, why your protection actually sets up your production. Man, I'm going to have to put a fucking ice pack on this thing. It's like swollen as fuck. I had gum tissue all operated on by my dentist and my periodontist. Woof, getting ready for my new implants to go in because of my teeth that I lost from a tumor. So anyway, sit back and relax and enjoy this. I got about a 40-minute run here from a live event I did back in 2016 that I think you're really going to enjoy. And at the end of that, I'll come back to you here with a little message and also some instructions. Enjoy.
So as we create a target, like Ishan, there's things at 23 that you can pull off at 23 that at 43 won't be possible. The dynamics of life get more complicated, shit gets more complicated. How many of you know that kids and a wife complicate creation in business? Okay, good. So they're also an acceleration, but inside of it, there's also all this other shit. And Ishan, you're experiencing that with a girlfriend and the fact that all your family is employed by you in all your businesses, which makes it very fun. I went through that. I hired them all, I fired them all, and said I'll never do it again. Twice, actually, fired my mom. Affected us for a decade. How do I stabilize what I create physically? I've started looking at my fitness routines, and I was like, I can do this. I can do this, but for how long can I do this? Like, legitimately, how long can I do this? Something happened to me at 40. I can't describe it. Like, I seriously shifted from I'm fucking bulletproof, impossible, nothing can happen to me. I'm the guy that had cancer. They're ripping my teeth out to prep for surgery. And I'm asking him, well, so like how long until I'm back on the field? And the doctor's like, dude, we're trying to help you not die right now. I'm like, no, I hear that. But can we wear can I have a longer face cage to my helmet and a padded chin strap? Will that be all right? Dude, we don't know if you'll ever play again. We're trying to make sure you don't fucking die. But guess who couldn't hear it? Me. Now, I have an appointment on Tuesday with my doctors to look at all my hardcore blood analysis and urine analysis and all the Jedi analysis, and the whole time I'm like, okay, my time to change some shit to see if I can actually maintain to what? Scott, I look at you as an example to me, like I do. All your pain, your excitement, your growth, your possibility, your purpose, your drive, your passion, the fact that you're in this fucking room. I'm like, dude, I hope I have that kind of drive at 60, how old are you? 61. 61 years of age. How many of you at 61 hope you're still coming to rooms like this? Yes. Are you fucking kidding me? This room. I mean, this room, and yeah, I mean, like, dude, seriously, that's 21 years from now. Can a lot of shit go sideways in 21 years? You bet your ass, including all your fucking drive to do anything. And 61, hobbling his ass down here, hobbling down to the beach, hobbling back up here, being in the conversation, sitting in a chair while we spray him with a hose and it's cold because his knees are hurting. You've done the fucking game with us for almost 2 years. I'm asking myself, what is sustainable and maintainable? And how do I stabilize my fitness so that I can be doing some really cool shit when? At 60. And what can I be doing at 80? Some other cool shit. I'm asking the question in my marriage. What can I create that I can stabilize and maintain? I tried things like 30-minute sit down every day with my wife and have a really serious conversation. We created 1 day of that. Couldn't stabilize it, definitely couldn't maintain it. Well, all right, that didn't work out. After 12 minutes, we weren't sure what to talk about, so we continued on with another conversation. Create, stabilize, and maintain, and the piece that surrounds all of it is this ability to protect it. Are there moves you can put in place to protect your body? Yes or no? Yes. Are there moves you can put in place to protect your spirituality and your purpose? Yes or no? Yes. Are there moves you can put in place to protect your marriage and your stabilization of that relationship? Yes or no? Yes. Are there moves you can put in place to protect and stabilize your business? Yes or no? Yes. Are there moves you can put in place to stabilize and protect your money? Yes or no? Yes. What is your protection plan, gentlemen? Like, I'm not just talking about your money, I'm talking across the board. Who gives a shit if you live the warrior's way and you can create if you can't maintain it? For the first time in my life, in all my businesses, I am the first guy that's doing what? Bridling everyone. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Sam and I have this conversation like every 2 days. He'll come up and be like, all right, bro, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. And I was like, I love your enthusiasm. And he's like, let me guess, we'll put a pin in it and we'll talk about it in 2018. I said, you got it. And so we have this board of ideas of cool shit we could do, but what? We don't do. Jeremy's like, we're going to sell 1,000 units by January 1st. I said, you're going to fucking bankrupt us. Not because we sold 1,000 units, but because I'm going to fucking shut this bitch down because I'll lose my fucking mind because we have no idea where the fuck all these books are and which ones arrived and which ones didn't. We have no automation and tracking in place. We have no stability inside of our shipping and manufacturing. We don't know if these motherfuckers are going to drop the ball on us. Are you out of your fucking mind? We're not doing this. And he's like, it's a good point. It's a good point. And for the first time in my life, I'm interested in what? Stabilizing, maintaining, and then protecting the systems and the protocols of my life. Of literally my physical body, my money, my income streams, my marriage. There is shit that I will do that is not profitable, as profitable for me so that I can protect my marriage. Say no to shit so that I can be present. There are people I have distanced myself from because they erode and corrode and are viruses to my purpose. They're not bad people, they're just not people I'm choosing to what? Be around because they erode my ability to maintain. There are certain belief systems I have divorced from because they don't give me protection, they make me weak. There are habits that I have dropped because they don't protect, they destroy. And I am tired of a life that goes like this. Here, who wants to be the fucking guy that every 5 years has burned his business to the ground and is starting over again? Anyone? Nobody? No takers? Gonzalo wants to build and burn? No. Lo digo en español. Okay, you're tired of it. I'm tired of it too. So I'm at 4 years, which is typically what happens. What happens to me now? I'm right there. I'm knocking on the window. And I get a rush. It's like an addiction because I don't even do it like this. It's not like a slow, subtle thing. I just wake up one morning, I'm like, and everyone's like, where'd he go? And I'm like, oh, my life's so hard. It's so hard. And everyone around me is like, why do you keep low touching your life, man? Because I never had what? I never gave a shit. And I didn't have a plan to protect what I produce. So now I create. And then I turn in a circle and I do what? Stabilize, maintain, protect. Next step, do what? Create, stabilize, maintain, protect. Stabilize, maintain, protect. Stabilize, maintain, protect. Russ, let's grab a mic. Hands right here in the front. Hand up, Russ. Or stand up so Steve can see you.
Just a quick question. Do you think this is now because you have stronger purpose in what you're creating?
100%. I have stronger purpose across the board. When I didn't give a shit about my wife, at the levels I give a shit about her now, it was harder to give a shit about protecting the kingdom. This is the catch-22 of building the habitable lifestyle, is when you start to like and love your life, you start to want to what? Protect it. But when there's a lot of cancer and shit going on in your life, it's actually quite exciting to do what?
Burn it all.
That sucked, but it's kind of exciting. Let me build it again. But now that I care, I used to get on planes and never give a shit. Didn't give a shit I died. Didn't give 2 seconds of thought to my family back home. Looked at it as a pathway to freedom. It's like, yes, a few days on my own. Now I get on the plane and my first thoughts are like, shit. If this plane goes down, am I cool? Am I straight? I feel good? Like next week I get on a plane with my wife. My thoughts are, what if we go down? What if we both die? Do I have protection in place for my kids? What happens to Wake Up Warrior? What happens to the businesses? What happens to the books? Who takes ownership of this? Do my kids take this? Who takes this? Who takes care of my children? These are questions I've never asked myself until the last year and a half or two, and more intensely this year. When you start to care more about the life you've created, you also start to care more about the people around that life that are part of it with you. There was another guy. There's another guy that I was back and forth and exchanging with, and this guy had gone through a decade of 50 million plus a year. A decade of it in production at that level. 2 divorces on his 3rd relationship. Now has nothing. And came to Warrior with a pile of coke in a bathroom. And he's like, I don't even know what the fuck purpose was behind any of it. He's like, it almost seems like it would be easier to just die than to try to recreate my life. Every time that you burn your shit to the ground, you get older, you get more fatigued, and it becomes less desirable to start over. At 23, fuck it, Eshan, you got like a good 2-3 burns and builds ahead of you, buddy. At 23, you're kind of like, ah, shit, we fucking lost it all. It's all right, we'll do it again. Everybody over 40 is like, motherfucker, wow. Ooh, I want to be 23 and not give a fuck again. But when you get older, how exciting is it to start over again? Literally think of what you got right now and what you've built in your relationship and your business, and how exciting would that be to burn it down and start over. Craig, you're starting over, relationship-wise. It also gives you an opportunity to start over where? Across the fucking board if you want. Because guess what? You continue on the path in the other areas the way you did with your relationship, and you'll just end up in that place 10 years from now, being forced into a decision. So we have this conversation of protection. And we've been spending the last 2 days discussing the conversation of production. And we've been saying, hey, marketing, sales, systems, I am a marketer, I am a closer, I'm a leader, not a savior. All production talk, production conversation. So here's a big question for you. Is it possible that one element of production is actually the emphasis and focus on protection? Yes or no? Yes. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, how? How is it possible that production over here of creating, that part of being in the game of creation is the game of protection? You can come back to our points here. Create, stabilize, maintain, and protect. Production and protection. So let me write a little number here. What's that number say? 714,000. That was my personal taxes in 2015. $714,000 in personal tax in 2015. That's what I paid in taxes in 2015. $714,000. AZ says I need to become a church. Yes, sir. Scientology, son. Yeah. Warriors evolving. Now here, so we look at this number, right? What did this number? This number can mean a lot of things. Do you know what this number really means? Yeah, well, it means what the fuck? I sent $714,000 to the government. Yeah, well, that happened. Immediately on the second wire, I was like, yep, you're done. And I went and got somebody else. I went and got somebody else. And I got a team of somebody else's. And to get the team was an investment of $50,000. To get the team to help me handle this. Because the team I had couldn't deal with the big issues that I was facing, particularly being in the state of California, which is a different beast. California, and then there's the IRS. Two fucking different stories. California is basically their own monster. Everybody in California, you get this, yeah? Yes, sir. Well, I didn't get this until I lived here, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, there's a reason why we're by the beach. These bastards. So there's these two issues. So I invested $50,000 to go get teams to help me do what? Protect what I fucking created. At the end of the day, how excited are you to send 60% of what you create back to the government? Anyone pumped about this? I was like, what the fuck? Now, I had forgotten how this feels, because it had been a few years digging myself out, and I had been taking all of these massive losses from 2006 and 2007 and paying them forward on taxes. Well, I exhausted all those. And they're like, well, what else you got? And I was like, I got some jump ropes. Like, well, we're not going to give you shit for a write-off on that. So, here's what you owe. I'm like, what the fuck? Really? That was a painful 2 days. Like, I didn't like it. I would sit there and it was like, refresh. Fuck. God damn it. On the one side, I was grateful that I could just click and go. On the other side, I was like, God damn it. And interestingly enough, because I had not put a lot of thought into protecting, guess what happened to some of my desire for a day or two to produce? Where do you think it went? Down. I was like, fuck this. I was like, why the fuck would I do this? I forgot how pissed off I used to be about this shit. And all of my losses are now gone, which means now I got to pay the piper again. I'm like, fuck, I got to figure out how to play this game. And the game was about production through what? Protection. Now, in my mind is all these mentors I've had for years who are saying it's not how much you make, it's how much you what? Keep. And I was like, these pussies. And then I was reminded again why I wasn't thinking they were pussies in 2006. But I forgot about all that because my focus has essentially been for almost a decade on what? Digging myself out of multiple million-dollar holes with money that I owed people, getting everyone paid back. The final negotiation on a piece of debt literally hit me from my attorneys yesterday. They were paid off. It is clean. So things are clean, and I'm in this new place, and for the first time, I'm focusing in the last year and a half on, dude, I don't want to do that shit again. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have another 7-year cycle where I build really big, and then I spend another 7 fucking years into my 50s trying to rebuild, and then burn again, and then be in my 60s and rebuild again. I was like, that's not exciting to me. And for the first time, my production focus has become dual-throat. Protect and produce. Produce and protect what I create, and stabilize and maintain inside of that protection. Taxes is one of them. Never once I think it. So the team I got on, they're like, listen, do you realize the less than 5 to 7 pages of the tax code were written on what you have to do? The rest of all the tax code has been written to tell you how to not pay tax. Legally. Why the government actually doesn't want you to pay tax. And they've made it easy for guys like you to feed the economy, and they use tax to manipulate the economy. And it's deliberately built for you to circumvent paying tax so that you can pour money into the economy and force things to move and change. Tax is a game of manipulation of economy. I was like, what the fuck? They're like, yep. You've had the wrong guys on your team. You've been having people try to deal with the 5 pages. We're going to have you deal with the other 100. And we're going to do it legally, and we're going to show you how to protect it, and we'll see how it goes. But this is one example. Talk about my marriage. Why do I go on date night every week, even when there are times I don't want to go on date night? Any of you ever had a time going on date night where both of you are kind of like, what the fuck are we going on date night for? Put your hands up. And me and my wife are for certain that if we skip that date night, what will happen next? We will skip the next one. And then it gets easier on the 3rd round to do what? Fuck it. And literally I have watched Danielle and I, after hustling this long, give us 2 weeks. 2 weeks of fucking this up. And we are emotionally knocking on the door of where we used to be 6 years ago. Give us 3 weeks, and I'm like, it's fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. What the fuck am I doing here? 3 weeks. Fuck up and have the wrong person to think core of your business running shit for you. 3 to 4 months. Game over. Do your personnel inside your teams matter? Yes. Investing in quality players and pouring into them, does it matter to the future success of your business? Yes or no? Yes. Investing in your clients, is that a form of protection even though it looks like an expense? Yes or no? Yes. Investing in good teams for you when it comes to taxes, does this make sense? Yes or no? Yes. But I didn't see all this. Not at the level that I'm seeing it right now. I'm seeing things I just haven't seen before. But the biggest thing that sparked all this desire, this idea of protection, is a realization that I have spent 15 years as an entrepreneur doing this. And also noticing that if I am not conscious about my desires to protect what I produce, there is this twisted fucking bug inside me that after a couple of weeks wants to say, fuck it. I am so addicted to this game. it has become so ingrained in who I am that if I am not conscious about it, I have a button inside of me that will go stabilize, maintain, protect. If there's not a passion to protect, you will burn out in your pursuit to produce. If there's not a passion to protect, you will burn out in your pursuit of production. It just will happen. I look at how exhausting it has been for the last 7 years to take my marriage from where it was to where it is. The thought of having to do it again, there's no battery life in me or plugged into the wall to try to do that again. Yet the energy to maintain it and continue to grow it into prosperity, it doesn't take a lot. It takes a little bit of conscious thought. How often? Every day. Is business any different? No. So I'm reminded us of one thing, and then we're going to shift conversation. We started this off 2 days ago, and I was discussing this idea of my warrior wealth. And we played around with this idea inside my warrior wealth, and what we were discussing were these two ideas of production and protection. And that these two concepts overlaid each other in a big way. We said that production was this idea that I'm a marketer, I'm a closer, I'm a leader, not a savior. And then we came over to protection, and we said I'm my number one asset. My business is my number one investment. And now the question becomes, okay, well, what is the number one strategy to pull this off? Like, and is there a particular strategy inside of all of this? For me, here is what the game has become. I can count on me. Couldn't do that for a long time. Number one asset is me. And for the first time in my life, I can count on me. Like with real certainty, no hype. I can count on me. If there's 3 seconds on the clock, for the first time in my life across the board, guess who wants to take the shot every time? I do. But there's been deep moments where 3 seconds on the clock, I'm dishing to Jesse. Or I'm dishing to Joe. I'm like, you take the shot. I'll get us there to the 2-yard line, and then you run it across the goal line. So being able to count on me has come through years of investing in who? Myself. So here's a question down in your war map. What are you committed to changing about the investment in you? This comes down to 3 things: mindsets, skill sets, and purpose. Mindsets, skill sets, and purpose. So if I'm a number one asset, what am I committed to doing to protect and to expand my mindset? Part of having warrior wealth is about protecting and growing this. What are you committed to doing to protect and expand your skill sets as a producer? And the third piece is purpose. What are you doing to deepen, expand, and clarify purpose? 3 things: mindset, skill set, purpose.
All right, my friends, so you're back, and this means that you've completed the podcast for this week. It also means that my face is still fucking swollen as fuck. And it'll be down here in the next couple days, a little ice and some ibuprofen, and we're going to be good to go. But I wanted to summarize again under the message that you just heard. One of the key concepts inside of this game of living the Warrior's Way is the ability to actually create money, Make the money, keep the money, and grow the money. And part of that comes down to protection. Now, coming up here, we have the Warrior Wealth Summit, which is actually happening in June 13th, 14th, and 15th in Huntington Beach, California. In 2017, we ran the Warrior Business and Leadership Summit. We've actually accelerated that into a bigger event, and also an event that is more specific upon advertising, on the ideas of production inside of advertising, marketing, sales, systems. We're going to peel back the covers on everything that we're doing. And then on the flip side of that also, we're going to be diving into the topics of protection and production and some interesting things in the idea in the realm of sobriety, which have to do with being a businessman. So if you'd like to know more about that, you can check that out at warriorwealth.com. My friends, thanks so much for being here inside of this podcast, and I look forward to having you guys next week. Hopefully my face is significantly less swollen by then. Later.